Hey, this is Sean from How to RPG, GM Mastermind, and formerly Gaming and BS. I wanted to do this introduction to what you're about to view, just to give you an understanding of what it's all about, essentially. So what you're about to watch is an actual play. We're going to be playing Delta Green, and the scenario is going to be Sweetness, both by Arc Dream Publishing. We'll have links down below. Go buy it if you're interested. The reason I wanted to record this is because there are some videos of actual plays that are well produced and are essentially set up to be actual plays. With the players in this video and a subsequent second episode, we didn't really set it up to be an actual play. I asked them if it was okay to record, to put it out in audio, potentially out on YouTube. But it wasn't set up to be, hey, we're going to do an actual play and this is how it's going to work. You know, even going down to introductions of the players and their characters. Essentially, I was taking it from a, hey, let's play a game, let's just record, and then we'll put it out there. More of a guerrilla type of approach. So that's what we did. Sweetness could go a little bit longer and need a little bit more time depending on where your players go. That's not totally unusual from a Delta Green game perspective. But I'm working under a bit of a timeline here because I only have 2 sessions allocated to the scenario. And then after that, I have to kick off another campaign of Impossible Landscapes, another longer campaign for Delta Green with some of the same players and a few different players, starting in August of 2022. So in episode 2 of this particular series, it may come to an ending that isn't all wrapped up in a tidy package with a bow on top. It may come to an end rather abruptly and have to narrate what that ending looks like, depending, again, what the characters accomplish in the scenario. So if you're looking to hit play and have that well-polished actual play type of presentation, this may not be for you. But I can tell you this, it's going to be fun, it's going to be entertaining, and you'll get to know the players and their characters fairly well. So having said that, I will introduce the player characters for Sweetness. We'll start off with Lupita Caneta, played by my buddy Harrigan. Lupita is an actual Army veteran who joined the U.S. Marshal Service. She's about 21 years of age and is a Mexican-American in ethnicity and nationality. She's about 5'9", 145 pounds, fit and curvy. Hair usually worn in a short black ponytail, brown eyes, light brown skin. Warm, pretty smile when she lets it show. Often seen in dark or mirrored shades along with a white button-down shirt, guide pants, and a U.S. Marshal's windbreaker. Her background is as a Mexican-American raised by her father in New Mexico. Lupita excelled at sports, loved camping and hiking, but she lost her mother early to something she still doesn't understand. And she's followed in her father's law enforcement footsteps after getting out of the Army. She does have worries about her dad and her drug-addicted brother. Her personality, she worships her father, frets about her brother, and she's haunted by what she saw the night her mother died. Her word is her bond. She likes to have a plan and to follow procedure when possible, but is better at improvising and keeping a cool head than she believes. Next is Donovan Dejesus. Interesting character. I don't have a ton of background on Donovan, but he's played by Gabe. Donovan is a sales individual for a major pharmaceutical organization. He reminds me from Gabe's portrayal of him as he's a bit of a hustler, businessman. He's got a bachelor's of science in pharmacology and business. Lots of wheeling and dealing. He's about 30 years of age when we start the scenario. His employer is Pfizer, and the archetype that he plays is a business executive. And I think you'll gather that probably within the first 10 minutes of this actual play. Next, we have Jeremiah Gladstone, played by my buddy Lou. Jeremiah is approximately 26 years of age. Approximately, I guess 26 years of age at the start of the scenario. He's employed by the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and has a master's in physical anthropology from the University of Florida. He's average height and lean. He dresses smarter than the player, Lou, and has a meticulous beard. In 1994, he helped excavate the Arini caves in Armenia, where I helped discover the world's oldest leather shoe and oldest vintner facility. You can find Jeremiah, I think, with, well, I don't know if this is spoilery or not. Not really, because it's part of his charm and personality, but he's obviously a bit of an academic, very excited to be involved in Delta Green and government operations, maybe overly enthusiastic. I think you'll like him quite a bit. And then there's Hank Williams. Hank's going to be played by Hoos as an operative archetype, police detective lieutenant. So Hank is male, 38 years of age, Chicago Police Department on loan to the State Department for the Bureau of International Crime and Law Enforcement. He's got a Polish, English, American background ethnicity-wise. He's an ex-Marine, had been drafted for 2 years and served in Vietnam, and then pursued a BS in criminology at Marquette University. And he's been a member of the Chicago Police Department for over 13 years. He's about 6'3", 200 pounds, athletic build. He's got large glasses that sit on a prominent nose, hiding kind eyes. When on or off duty, he wears tailored natural fiber clothes, often consisting of a shirt, tie, vest, trousers, and leather shoes, along with his ever-present fedora. For good measure, he sports a leather harness and holster for his sidearm and ammunition. He's very serious and somewhat gruff, but he hides his soft heart and sense of justice and morality. He's a good manager of people and can see connections where others fail. Now, that is the cast for the actual play that you're about to watch. There are obviously bonds in Delta Green. If you're not familiar with those, they're basically connections that the player characters have. They could be a family, friends, or even an organization. So maybe they're a member of a club. And as Delta Green moves along, you will lose sanity as a player character. But to offset that, you can actually diminish your bonds or the relationship you have with your bonds to offset the sanity mechanic that's in the game. So as your character takes on more sanity, you're probably going to play that off of your bonds, which decreases a score that you have, and eventually you wear away at those bonds. So perfect example is maybe you have a child and you're supposed to show up to soccer games or a concert, something that the child is going to be doing, but Delta Green has whisked you away to an operation. And in so doing, you encounter sanity, but in the metagame piece of it, maybe it's you missing the concert or a major event. And therefore, that bond starts to slowly take a bit of resentment towards you. What will typically happen is over a longer term game of Delta Green, those bonds become severed, and then you start creating bonds with members of the team and the organization because they know what you're going through, which also starts to maybe wither away as well. So it's really the downward spiral of the human psyche or the person and their relationships over time. Sometimes there may even be, cruxes that come into play. But regardless, I'm not going to go into each and every character's bonds because I think it might be a little bit more than what's needed. But you'll notice how I start off in this session kind of setting up a few things so that when those bonds start to kind of shrink a little bit, there's an actual reason behind it. And it's always lingering in the back of the player character's mind. I got to get back. I've got this event, but then I have this major operation to do. I've got to save kind of the world from this horror, this unexplainable happening. So, thanks for tuning into this intro. I hope you like the actual play. And now let's get on with it. All right. Let's see. Lupita. Agent Lark. So the date is Tuesday, July 13th. 1993. And as you, Lupita, are kind of going about your day, or about to kind of on the Tuesday, you know that Carlos, Caneta, who's Carlos?
Carlos is Lupita's father.
He is. And that his birthday is coming up on July 20th.
Okay.
Your brother is Dejesus is planning the party.
That is unlike Jesus, so great. Good for him.
He's probably doing it under a little bit of distress, but fine. He's taken your advice to heart and is trying to organize something which will probably end up being a fiasco of some kind.
Yeah, I think he said he's planning it, but Lupita knows full well she's going to have to come to his rescue.
Right, and he's counting on it probably in some way, shape, or form. So it's only about a week away. There's been voicemails that he's left sounding like he's a bit aloof and trying to get things happening. Where do you go and get the cake in time? You haven't ordered the cake. What are you getting, Dad? Are we going in on it together? And so you see those voicemails throughout your workday on Monday, and Tuesday's coming along. And you've returned some and talked to him a little bit. But it's something that's lingering in the back of your mind as the week kicks off.
I would imagine the Federal Marshal Office has one of those awful star 99 type voicemail systems we used to have in the 90s.
For sure.
Had to navigate through all the numbers.
Right. Of course. He gets through them pretty quick if he leaves them at work. Donovan Dejesus, Agent XTC. Guillermo Mason. Who's Guillermo Mason?
Oh, we went to grad school together. I was pursuing my pharmacology degree so that I had some better intelligence about what I was going to be selling for Pfizer Corp.
And you know that there's going to be a fiesta for Guillermo. He's got a wedding coming up in August that you are obviously a big part of. Specifically, the bachelor party, which I think he's pretty excited about. Talking about the old days of college and things of that nature. I think it's still in the mix. Time is running out, but he knows that you and some of the guys that you had associated with during college and even beyond that, he's given you a list of a couple of his professional connections that he probably wants to have there as part of the plan. Let's see. Jeremiah Gladstone, Agent Wishbone. Pappy. Who's Pappy?
That is Grandpa Pappy Roland. He's a long line of Gladstones. Farm's been passed down for quite a few generations, and he's the first man in my life to tell me to reach outside the farm. And he's very proud of what I've done at school and getting my degrees, and I still help the farm. I'm still involved in the cattle and beef industry, but not physically. And he's very proud of me for that.
So Pappy's health hasn't been the best lately. You're not sure what it is. And your sister Barb, because you come from a family of, 4 siblings, right? 3 brothers and 1
5.
sister? 5.
4 brothers and a sister.
Yeah.
6 of us total.
And Barb has been stepping up to try to help Pappy a little bit, but has, knowing your relationship with Pappy being one of the better ones of all the siblings, has been keeping you in the loop as she takes him to doctor's appointments and figures out what the problem is. Could be heart, respiratory, a variety of different things they're trying to pin down. Getting blood drawn and doing blood tests and finding out what the deal is. It's only come on. He's kind of diminished a little bit, but everybody remains hopeful.
I keep checking the airlines every day in case I need to grab a seat and go back.
All right. Let's see, just... All right. And then last we have Hank. I'm fixing Hoose's video here because it's like whacked because I invited Craig. All right, I think I'm good. All right. All right. And lastly, but not leastly, we have Hank. Hank everything seems to be going okay with Hank for the most part. It seems like might be at work dealing with the usual cases. And are you a beat cop type, Hank?
Detective.
Yeah. How long have you been on the force?
About 14 years now.
Okay. How's your week been kicked off since it's only Tuesday? Imagine you get called in during the weekends and all kinds of different hours being a detective.
No rest for the weary. So yeah, there was another strange case over the weekend that really confounded me. And Ancient Marcus had checked in with me about something, kind of given me some encouragement and that we're not crazy what we're seeing, but to keep things under wraps.
Okay. So it isn't long into Tuesday morning, kind of getting to almost mid-afternoon, 10:30. You're looking forward to having a break for lunch. And you receive a package. Each one of you kind of shows up either at your house. It's been lying around. Perhaps it came in. You go home and it arrives. You've noticed at the end of the day when you come home. Or perhaps it showed up at work specifically. It's a FedEx envelope. And it looks like it's your writing on the outside, as if you filled out and sent it to a false address. But you know that you don't recall ever completing the form or sending any particular package. It's one of those cardboard flexible envelopes, a little bit bigger than an 8.5 by 11. You each open it up and you realize there is a brochure inside that says for a real estate seminar by Sunnyside Real Estate. And it's at a Holiday Inn with the address located in Tampa, Florida, this coming Friday. The front is marked by a small hand-drawn let me see. A hand-drawn delta, green delta on the front of it. And then there is a phone number also on the back. The digits 929-244-3423. You know from Agent Marcus that you have met before that last you left off, there was something lingering in the back of your mind where he mentioned that if they needed any assistance with a particular mission, that they would be reaching out in a more covert manner. And one of the signatures that would be recognized, and what he said, to know how you would know that is through that green triangle. So,
React here, Sean.
yeah, if you would be so kind. Lupita, Agent Lark.
So Lupita she takes the envelope that it came in the mailer that has it's like a harder cardboard sort of thing that you tear, I'm sure. She looks at the writing and the return address. It looks like it was written in her handwriting, her own.
It does, yeah. Strangely so, oddly so.
What's the return address? Or is there one?
There is not one.
Was there regular postage affixed to this, or did someone hand deliver it to my desk?
There was regular postage with a postmark of about 3 days ago.
Can she tell where it came through?
Well, it's FedEx, so not really. You could probably do tracking, but it's in.
You'd have to contact them.
Yeah, you can run the tracking number from the label. It comes up with a strange P.O. box or a strange street address in Cleveland, Ohio.
And the phone number that's on the brochure, that is written in pen?
You're not sure if
someone's added?
You're not sure if it's a phone number. It's simply a 10-digit number with no dashes or dots.
Fair enough.
In the similar handwriting.
But which looks like my own.
It does.
Okay. But it's written, it's not printed on the brochure. It's written by a pen or something.
Correct. Actually, in a gel, you notice it as a gel point type ink.
And can she tell?
So
one last question, Lou. Can she tell if the green triangle was added like a stamp to the brochure? Is it textured or anything? Or
It's actually, it looks hand drawn, despite the handout.
Okay. So just by way of a little bit of background, Lupita's inciting incident involves her mother, and she's sort of been investigating it on the side for a while now. And her investigations are what have put her on the radar for people like Agent Marcus. So I would imagine she's had a couple of conversations with him so far. I think she's got someone else inside of the Marshals division that she talks to about this stuff as well. But I think she'll know from seeing the green triangle that she'll swear, because this will mean she has to miss the party on Thursday, and her brother better have it covered. But I think the last we see of her is her sort of folding it up, putting it back in the envelope, grabbing her bag, and heading for the door type of thing to go and start making plans.
Okay. So we started backward. We'll start with you, Hank. Your reaction when you received the envelope.
So Hank is a little confused by the handwriting, and he doesn't really drink that much, so he didn't think he did this in a drunken stupor. But I guess the first thing he's going to do is call into headquarters and have that number identified if he can.
Okay. It seems to go through some strange, different tracking kind of method. It doesn't actually ring on the other end. Actually, correction. It rings and rings on the other end. Let's see. Just want to check something. What is your SIGINT?
Non-existent.
Okay. For you, it seems as though it's just a phone number that nobody's picking up at.
Okay. And would I recognize any other 10-digit sequence of meaning anything other than a phone number?
No, not that you can picture. You feel confident enough that it's probably a phone number, but not sure.
Do I know where 929 area code is?
No.
Or can the police department tell me?
Yes, it can.
New York City.
Is it New York City?
Yeah.
It is New York City. New York City.
Okay. Well, Hank's been told that he will be contacted for something like this. So he'll grab his ditty bag, check in with his captain, and say that he needs to take some emergency leave.
All right. As you are doing that, probably in the captain's office with the door open, maybe, or potentially, captain's maybe perturbed at the amount of notice that you're providing. See Sergeant Winslow come by the door as you're exiting, asking you what's up, what's going on. Hey, bud.
How you doing, Wins?
All right. What's going on with you and the cap?
I just had to tell him I need some days off.
Uh-oh. Hope nothing serious.
I don't think it's serious, but my sister and I haven't really had the best relationship, but it's something to do with her, and I'd rather not talk about it right now.
Hey, no problem, bud. If you need something though, let me know, right?
You're the man.
All right, sounds good. Well, hope it's not too long. You got a ETA on your return?
I think it'll be 4 or 5 days.
Okay. I'll try to keep the fort down.
All right, you're a good man. Thank you.
All right. Hey, you gonna have your cell on you? I mean, I don't want to bother you, but just in case something comes up, got a question maybe about a case.
I'll have my pager.
All right.
Do we have cell phones?
I think they're rudimentary in 93,
They're
maybe.
Bricks, aren't they?
Made big bricks.
I had a Nokia
Did
in
you really?
93. Yeah.
What do they call them? The candy bars or whatever they used to be called?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got rolled out through the precinct, brand new. I don't know if you're a big fan of them, Hank.
Well, I have it. I don't know how to use this damn thing, but you can page me.
All right, sounds good. Like I said, hope it's nothing too serious.
So do I.
Agent XTC, you receive an envelope.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too, Harrigan. I receive it at my office at the Pfizer headquarters in New York, and looking at my own handwriting, I pause for a moment and I think I've had some experiences sampling some of what Pfizer produces, and I realize that space and time is rooted to consciousness, and it could be that a future self has written this and sent it back to me. It's something to puzzle on. I'll think about that later. And I pick up my phone and I dial the number that I see there on the brochure.
All right. You call and it just rings and rings and rings.
Next, I page my secretary and I say, I need plane tickets to Tampa, Florida. Give me the usual samples. Give me a list of the hospitals. I want appointments with all of the major doctors in that area.
Yes. How do they address you?
Oh, probably Mr. Dejesus.
Mr. Dejesus. Yes, sir, Mr. Dejesus. And where you're going to, where was your destination?
Tampa.
Okay. And what should we do with your current appointments?
Oh, put them off. I'll get back to you. I'll have to reschedule all of them.
Reschedule. Very well. You do know you have a meeting with the board later this week. Are you sure you want to reschedule that? They've been trying to set it up for the last 3 months.
With my, you know what? I'll call Deborah. I'll explain it myself. But if anyone asks, this is a great business opportunity. I'll make it worth their while. There's a really good market in Tampa, and I have a really good lead right now.
Very well. I will pass along your sentiments, and I will make sure that they're aware that something better is on the horizon, sir.
Thank you. I'm heading to the airport now. You can go ahead and have the ticket waiting for me at the desk there.
Very well. And Mr. DeJesus, first class or?
Of course, yes.
Of course, naturally. I apologize for asking. I should have known that. Well, safe travels. Good luck with the potential opportunities. We know you can take care of it, sir. Mr. Agent Wishbone, Jeremiah Gladstone.
So I'm currently on campus at the University of Florida, Gainesville, giving anthropology seminars at my alma mater. And I regularly check the mailroom for the most recent issue of Science magazine, looking to see if any of my research gets published. So one day I'm in the mailroom and this package is there and not my magazine. And it's actually fairly exciting for me because I feel like they are finally pulling me in. I've done a little bit of research for Marcus. It's all been just files and folders and pictures and stuff that is handed off to me. I look at it, I give him some opinions, give it back. Nothing. I never know what it's about. And when I was told that there may be a day they may need a little more from me, and I see the green delta, it gives me tingles. Like I'm excited. Maybe this is the next step for getting some answers on some of the strange things that I've seen on some of my digs. I see it, and I kind of know where this is in Tampa, and I'm glad that I don't have to go too far from where I am. But I do call Barb and let her know that I have a good line on some real estate, and maybe I'll finally settle down here in Florida, like I've talked about for the past 5 years. And I tell her to leave messages for me at the Malchowski Hall of Data and Science building on campus, and I'll check in regularly the messages just to see if Pappy's condition or if she needs anything from me. And I tell her one more thing, make sure Reggie, Ben, Clark, and Nathan do what they need to do on the farm, and pull their weight since you're taking care of Pappy. I don't tell them I don't have to come. I don't want to go all the way back there and have to deal with this. And then I get my nice only one owner 1991 Toyota Camry, four cylinder, 27 miles to the gallon. I put all my stuff in the trunk. My camping gear, my physiology textbooks that have all kinds of strange pictures and writing that I've taken notes from all the stuff that Marcus has given me. I kind of keep it in this book. They don't know about it. They told me not to write anything down, not to keep anything, but I have it as like liner notes in one of my textbooks. I also take my archaeology stuff. I make sure that my wedding ring is in my pocket. And then I go into the bottom drawer behind all the oldest files, and I take out my Makarov pistol that I brought back with me from Armenia on my most famous dig.
All right. Excellent. Does anybody else want to do anything before they take off to Tampa? Got airlines booked, bags packed.
I didn't tell you how I would arrange travel. Caneta is a federal marshal, so she travels the country widely all the time. So I think she has a pretty easy network. But what she does, one of her fellow marshals, another deputy marshal, so somebody who's very junior, her name is Eloise, and Lupita gets her to cover that she's chasing this man named George Claff, one of the people that she's been trying to find, one of the fugitives. So she is having Eloise fabricate that someone called in a tip that Claff was in Tampa, which is why she can use the department resources to go there on her own time and whatnot. So she's supposed to be in Tampa looking for a known fugitive that she really doesn't have any lead that he's there.
Okay. And
she makes a phone call, of course, to Jesus as well. Like, you got this. Dad's birthday. You have to explain that I have to go for work and I can't come. So you have to make sure that the place is rented and the balloons are there. And basically she leans on Jesus to make sure everything's going to be okay. She plans on calling her father later after she's in Tampa to explain herself what's going on.
Jesus is frantically, he's saying that he has it. I've got it. Well, hold on a second. What was that again? And he's, as he's trying to say that he has it, he's mentally taking notes.
The cake is at Stacy's. You have to make sure you call the guys at the Legion so they can come. You told me you had all this already in hand.
Yeah. I got it. It's Legion. Yep. Yeah, right. Stacy's. I got it. No problem.
Okay, I gotta go. I gotta make some phone calls, but you need to make sure you get all this. I'll call you tonight when I get to Tampa.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, no. Oh.
Click.
All right. So as you guys make your way to Tampa, going through the airport or driving, news hits about an Islamist mob sets fire to a hotel July 2nd, where the Satanic Verses translator Aziz Neeson resides in Sivas, Turkey, killing 37. A floating chapel sinks in Baku, Balkan, killing 266. People on site and emergency rescue people are working diligently to find any other survivors and those injured. And not too long ago, on July 5th, Iraq disarmament crisis as the UN inspection teams leave Iraq. Iraq then agrees to United States commands and demands and the inspection teams return. Electrochemist Faiza El-Kharafi is appointed rector or president of Kuwait University, the first woman to head a major university in the Middle East. Security is on the upfront, and protesters have taken to the streets for the 19th G7 summit held in Tokyo, which is currently going on. It's been peaceful mostly for the most part, as protesters sit outside in Tokyo. Hurricane Calvin lands in Mexico. It's the second Pacific hurricane on record to land in Mexico in July and kills 34. The Red Cross has been dispatched, and the United States is considering federal aid. All right. Friday comes, you end up in Tampa. You take flash forward and you take unless otherwise mentioned, you take a taxi to the wonderful Holiday Inn, Tampa.
Sean, at some point, Lupita would have dialed that phone number as well. Did she get the same, basically, dial or no answer kind of thing?
I believe so. Let me double check.
Okay.
Yes, she does.
She wanted to call not from a work phone, but from like a different, like a pay phone type of thing.
Yeah, it just rings and rings for some reason.
As I'm driving to Tampa, I have the pamphlet in my passenger seat, and I keep glancing over it. And does that number strike me as any kind of case file number or anything like on the folders or files that I've been given in the past, or no?
No,
Nothing like that. Okay.
Completely random to most of you. To all.
I'm just too excited. I didn't even that number didn't even mean anything to me. I'm just so happy it was in the same state that I was rushing there.
Right. Let's see. Okay. So you show up to the hotel, which I had a picture for, and I don't know why I don't have. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Okay.
Gabe, remember you were asking about gear? This is where it can be important. Where I think Caneta has a go bag, so she got her go bag with her, but she also has a bunch of stuff on her sheet, Sean, that is, if she has a car, it's what a Marshall would have in the trunk. So she obviously doesn't have any of that, right? So I won't be accessing any of that stuff that's in the trunk.
Okay. You approach the Holiday Inn, the Tampa Greenfield Holiday Inn, and there's a huge sign that you noticed as you approach the foyer of entrance. There's a sign that says the Tampa Greenfield Holiday Inn welcomes the Sunnyside Real Estate Seminar. And as you enter, there's people coming and going. There's, gentlemen wearing khaki shorts, high socks, and polo shirts. Couple have golf bags. The rest are in khaki pants and polo shirts. Some button-up formal shirts and attire. Women dressed in business casual, roaming around. And what you can only, they've all got their little badges on, and it says real estate seminar attendee, and then their names. The hotel is filled with real estate agents all over the place. And let's see. Give me a Gabe. Give me a D4 check. Give me a D4 roll.
I'm gonna put it right here in the video chat. Is that all
Wherever.
right with roll? Yeah.
Either way.
1.
A 1. All right. You happen to notice. Let's see. I think I gotta do some tweaking with these. All right. All right. Give me a search.
Ooh. From my skill sheet.
Yes.
Search. Good. This is alphabetical, but I don't see search specifically. Is there a synonym for it?
No, it should be
Third column.
third
near the
column
bottom.
down. I don't know why they're.
Alertness?
No, there's a search.
Yep.
Constant research.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Thank you.
Ooh, close. All right. And you notice one woman that's sitting on the phone, and she's talking to somebody quite loudly and talking about some deal that's going on, and her trying to coordinate it over the phone. Seems relatively lucrative for a real estate individual. She's dressed to the nines, like very put together, hair up, and makeup done really well, and kind of in a business suit. And as she's getting, she's talking on the phone. What are you talking about? We've negotiated this already. We have a signed offer. I don't understand. Financing is already done. And she gets up, like starts pacing down towards the lobby or away from the lobby down a hallway. Obviously quite frustrated.
She has no drink in hand, or did she happen to be at the bar?
It's like one of the lounge chairs in the lobby. Like there's the fireplace, which I don't know why they would have one in Florida, but it might get cool. So they fire it up when it's not July. But she was just kind of sitting there. And then she gets up and walks off.
I order from the bar quite hastily.
Okay.
Two dry martinis, up, 2 olives in each.
Vodka or gin, sir?
Vodka, of course. Your best, top shelf.
Of course. Kettle okay for you?
If that's the best you have,
that's all we got. Sorry.
Okay.
Excellent.
What are you gonna do?
Hank, you arrive. See the onslaught of real estate agents all over the place.
Is there a check-in table or something?
There is. There's a check-in counter, like many popular Holiday Inns.
He'll take for like the conference reception for the conference.
As you enter, there is. Let's see. But you happen to notice your contact in the lobby, sitting down, not too far from the woman that had rushed off a little bit earlier before you arrived.
I'll try to get his attention, but won't approach him.
Sure. Looks kind of like this. And as he sees you, you kind of connect and realizes it's you. Are you wearing your cool fedora?
Yep.
Yeah.
He dresses the same whether he's at work or at play.
Sure. Fair enough. So he comes up and
probably doesn't have his harness with his weapon on, though.
sure.
He
Says,
just got his
Officer Williams, good to see you.
special agent.
I'm glad you could make it. Looks like we're still waiting for some of the team. Feel free to get checked in at the front desk. As I try to keep an eye out for the rest of the team.
All right. Thank you. So Hank will go up to the desk then.
Okay. Agent Wishbone, you finally arrive in your Toyota. You had to stop once because you were probably on a half tank of gas. Cost you about $1.15 a gallon. So probably less than $10 to fill her up.
I didn't pack any food or snacks. I didn't even grab stuff at the gas station. I was just, again, my excitement. So when I get there, I want to grab a room. I don't know how to do this. I don't even know what I'm looking for or who I'm looking for, but I figure I'm at the place. And I see the bar. So right after I grab a room, I would like to go up to the bar and see what kind of bar food they're serving. And when I grab the menu, I notice how much more chicken and fish is on the menu than beef, and that's a little disconcerting. And I'm willing to discuss that with whoever's there that will listen to me while I'm waiting for my food.
All right. And then lastly, but not leastly, Agent Lark, you show up.
So I think Caneta would have rented a Crown Vic at the airport. So she's got a black Crown Victoria parked outside, kind of standard operating procedure for the marshals. And this is her game, right? Trying to spot people in crowds and look for tells when people are sort of trying not to get noticed and that sort of thing. So she would probably check into the hotel while surveying that whole group of real estate folks. The agent you mentioned with Hank, that was Agent Marcus, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay.
And you
So
you notice him right away. Like you walk in and the first person you see is him. That you recognize, I should say, aside from all the real estate agents.
She's going to go to the trouble of checking in first. She'll make just brief eye contact with him. And after she checks in and sort of surveys the rest of the room, looking for anything else that's a little weird that might be going on, she'll make her way over and just kind of nod at him.
And he
here.
This is Agent Lark. Hope the travel was smooth.
Everything went okay.
I believe the other two individuals are over at the bar. If you two could just stay right here, I'll be right back with them. I'm sorry. That's Mr. Officer Williams. I imagine you come back, Hank.
Yep.
So Agent Marcus introduces the two of you.
Okay. Lupita extends her hand. Says Agent Lark.
Nice to meet you, Agent Lark.
So Gladstone and Dejesus, unless you're sitting probably next to each other, Agent Marcus comes up to you in the bar and both interrupts you and says, gentlemen, Mr. Dejesus, Professor, if you'll accompany me. And you recognize him right away as he comes up.
Marcus. Marcus. Again, I don't know. I didn't mean to yell it. I'm just excited.
Right.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's fine, Mr. Gladstone. Please, this way.
Dejesus puts one of the martinis back on the bar and says to the bartender, the barkeep, could you have a server bring that to the woman out there in the lobby? She seemed like she needed a drink. Just Don't tell her it's from me.
Yes, sir. Woman. Which one?
If I do I see her pacing in the lobby?
Yeah,
or is she gone?
You see her, sure. Yep.
I describe her. She's dressed to the nines. Look at her.
His brows raise a little bit, like, oh, yes, got it. Winks.
Thank you. Much appreciated. And I will follow Marcus to the others.
All right. Agent Marcus kind of does a loop and grabs Lupita and Hank. Doesn't say anything and says, just right this way. And kind of an awkward meeting of the four of you, walks down a hallway, takes a left, takes a right. There's conference rooms that are beginning to kind of get into the conference center area where there's conference room after conference room. And he takes you into a room by the name of, let's see, I think it's the Pine Room, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see.
As we're walking, the three of you can tell that Lupita's got some structure and some discipline in her life. She's former Army, so her pace is exact. She's got her backpack over her shoulder sort of crisply as she moves. She likes procedure.
All right, so he walks into a conference room. As you enter, on the little placard, it says the Pine Room. And inside is a circular table. I don't know if it's 6 feet in diameter. And there are 4 chairs. And he says, thank you for coming down. I apologize for the notice. But we had a friendly called in. This is part of a joint task force under the FBI, by the way. So we're asking for you to be discreet. It's kind of a special mission, special duty. So please keep it under wraps. We had a friendly called in. A friendly essentially an informant, if you will, for those of you that haven't worked with us before in any depth, called in an unnatural incident after seeing a symbol on the door of a family located here in Tampa. The family's name is Bernier. It's Bernier. And what he does is he puts out a dossier out on the table, throws it in the middle, and opens it up, shuffles through a couple things, and pulls out a photo. And let's see. And you could see that there's a door with this interesting scratched mark upon it. And what I will do with these is I will put these in the handouts folder that you can access when you need to.
Marcus, is that blood or feces?
Well, it's not feces that we know of. We have reason to believe it is serious enough to warrant investigation. We're not sure quite what it means, but it has us have our curiosity piqued. The Berniers, they've been cooperative. though they believe it's some sort of mundane harassment.
Marcus, do you mind if I could see that photo closer?
Of course.
You know, it looks like whoever did this was right-handed. Because usually when you're going to make these slashing marks, and I'm just trying to be really smart in front of these people because I don't know them, and that's my thing. So I think they're right-handed, whoever did this, and I'm not quite sure what the symbol is, but I'm sure, I'll look into it and see if it has anything to do with any of my studies. Thanks, Marcus. And he slides it back.
It looks like a paint palette with 3 brushes on it.
To the the common eye, maybe, but there's probably some deeper meaning in this, and then it could be old Babylonian, maybe some form of Assyrian. But I'll check it out, Marcus. Don't worry. I'll get you something.
What tipped you off that it's not just graffiti?
Well, we're not sure. We just know that it could be nothing. But something didn't seem right, especially from the informant. That's why we brought you down here, to look into it. You all have certain skills where we've kind of shorthanded on the FBI, and being a joint task force, we needed some feet on the ground, some boots on the ground. So,
what's their name, this informant, and where are they?
It's need to know. Unfortunately, he's provided us with some intel in the past, and it's not relative to this specifically. We've worked with him a little bit in different capacities, and he's shown us that his credibility's solid.
Lupita sits back a little bit. That frustrates her. She's like, we can't talk to him?
Not right at this moment. I can maybe arrange a meeting, but it might be a little difficult. Agent Lark, you realize by just looking at it that it's probably made, that the mark on the door from the image that you can tell from not even being there, given your experience in forensics, leads you to believe that it's made with some sort of horn or claw, something sharp enough to deform the door, but also be blunt.
So she'll take the picture after Jeremiah puts it back on the table and look at it. And then she'll slide it back on the table and say, we need to see the door. It looks like this was made with some sort of implement that may not be all that sharp. Something like a horn or a talon or something.
Hank, you are 100% on board with your new friend, agent, colleague.
Can I make an occult check to see if this rings any kind of bells in my studies?
You can. What is your occult, Professor?
60.
You notice right away that you're like, wait a minute, let me see that. And you flip it around on the table. You got to go in the wrong way in the direction. It's like looking at the door upside down. And you realize that this is a deity worshipped by a Greek mystery cult called Kor, Kas, or Yas. But it's very little is known about it. One of your resources that you had kind of leaned on in this field of study mentioned Kor being the queen of the underworld. which is related to rituals called katabasis, which is known to be a physical descent into the underworld. The etymology of the names Kas and Yas is unknown.
Any other disturbances in the neighborhood or similar marks anywhere?
None that we have been informed about.
Obviously, I imparted all of that information out loud as I flipped it around because I still need to show how, I'm part of this team and this is why I'm here. So I would have definitely embellished as much as I could.
Of course.
I'm impressed. Seems that you did right calling at least that guy down, Marcus.
Well, glad to have him on board. Thank you for your insight, Professor.
Not a problem.
Has anyone done legwork on the Bernier family to find out if they're mixed up in anything?
Just some preliminary checks, but nothing too significant. Inside the dossier, you'll find the address to the house and some of the information. So looks like it's located here in Tampa, recently built, probably around 3,500 square feet. So a pretty decent neighborhood, pretty decent. It's not a small house by any means. It's in the upscale neighborhood of Northridge. So a lot of well-to-do individuals, upper class, probably lower upper, mid-upper class type of individuals. Timothy Bernier is the patriarch of the family. Looks like he purchased it about 8 years ago. New from Quadmark Housing Development Company, apparently. But if you'll excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom. So
Hank will pick up the file and go through it.
Okay. So Agent Marcus opens the door to the conference room and walks out, closes it behind him.
Officer Williams, is there an address to that location in the file? I'm certain.
There is.
Yep.
Time.
It's 3591 North Ridge Avenue, Tampa.
All right.
Tampa, Florida.
So I'd be curious to know about any other incidents in the neighborhood at this time. Maybe everything 2 weeks in the past, too.
All right. There isn't anything in the dossier that there's no police reports or crime reports of the particular neighborhood. You could certainly do that as a mental note, Hank, if you want to. Something to put on the to-do list.
Yep.
So in the dossier, the only sign of anything unnatural is this symbol on the door, and that's it.
Correct.
I think we should do a little digging on the family before we go as well.
Agreed.
I also want to place a phone call to my fellow academic for classical studies at UF.
Okay.
He'll do that when he comes back.
Sounds good. So as you see through the dossier, there's a message in there that basically is like on a handwritten sticky note. And it just says, identify the origin of the mark, remove all the vectors which might produce it. It's my dog's snores in the background.
Can't hear him.
That's good.
Can you hear me?
We hear you now.
We
I can hear you. Yeah,
You just outed your dog, Sean.
I know.
Poor guy's snoozing. Sorry, remove vectors and then what? Like,
Remove
some
vectors.
instructions?
Yeah, mark and identify the origin of the mark and remove all the vectors which might produce it. And there's a picture of the family in there. There's a news story that talks about like this incident that occurred, strange, what is it? Vandalism, on local family being investigated. Inside the news article, they have the woman of the house mention what's her name? Oh shoot, Timothy's wife, that Mrs. Bernier, talking about how she thinks it's just kids and vandalism, but they'll be stepping up patrols in the neighborhood just to be sure. They identify the woman as Evelyn Bernier.
When did this take place again?
This took place 4 days ago.
So that was the day we received the packages? Because it's Friday, right?
It would be, yes. So, well, actually, it would be a week ago time frame because you guys would have taken time to travel. So, you would have arrived on Friday. So it would have happened the Friday before the Tuesday you guys got the info.
So before Agent Marcus comes back into the room, I can picture Caneta kind of, she's not at the desk. She's leaning against the wall. This is weighing on her mind. She's very young. She's early 20s. This is clearly, she's doesn't have a ton of experience at this stuff. She marshaled out of the Army just a little while ago and is now sort of in this federal program. She says, have you three done this before? Been this type of operation?
The Dejesus is leaning back in his chair, very casual, and just kind of shakes his head.
I mean, I've worked with Marcus, a few times, just never like in person or anything. But no, he contacts me whenever he needs help.
First time with the feds, but we deal with all sorts of strange things in Chicago.
So you're a detective, huh, Officer Williams? Or Detective Williams, I guess I should say.
Yes.
If, as this Agent Lark, you identified yourself as you suggest, do you think that you can do legwork and dig up more on this Bernier family? Otherwise, I think I should pose as a salesman, which wouldn't be too hard for me, and knock on the front door.
Well, we should be able to get Marcus to help us gain some background information, or at least get us a federal warrant to check.
It's a long bathroom break. Where is Marcus?
Yeah, it's been probably 10, 15 minutes. Hasn't come back yet.
Caneta will check the door. She'll open it, just kind of look out in the hallway. As she's doing that, she says, this is kind of what I'm wondering about. Like, do we identify as this task force when we contact the family, or do we have to lie low? Is he out there, Sean?
He is not.
She closes the door.
As you look outside, there's just real estate agents. It seems to be, they're coming back in to go to all their seminars, and it's starting to get a little bit louder outside, but the conference room does well enough to dampen the sound.
Hank's going to take his jacket off and put on his gear, and then he's going to say, I'll go to the bathroom and check on Marcus.
All right.
And then he'll leave and go check on him.
lean over like to Dejesus, and I'm like, "Did you get a letter too?"
Oh, I did. That's how you were mustered into the field too. Same procedure.
Yeah, this is usually they just ask me for help. Now they're, you know, I drove all the way here. This is kind of interesting, isn't it?
It is. I feel like the universe has spoken. This is a mandate because, all right, many people would think I'm crazy for saying this, but I feel like I wrote myself, not the letter itself, but addressed the envelope. The handwriting was uncannily familiar, as if my brother wrote it, and I don't have one.
Well, the FBI, they have all these tools and all this, they can do things. I'm sure there's explanation for that.
Caneta has raised an eyebrow when you said the universe has spoken, but she doesn't say anything. But she produces her letter and puts it on the table. She says, "What's this number written on yours?"
The same number, but so do you still have the envelope? Is that what you put on the table?
She put
brochure.
the
The brochure.
You put the brochure, but she'll follow it with the envelope as well.
I look at the handwriting. Does it look like my handwriting?
No.
She says,
Someone else addressed yours to you.
"Yeah, someone with my handwriting."
Isn't the FBI like it's interesting, right? It's amazing. Like every little detail, they figure it all out.
Did anyone reach this number?
No, I tried immediately from
What
my
number?
office in New York.
I didn't even see that on there.
We need to ask Marcus about it.
Well,
Speaking
I'm sure
of
the
Mark-
detective's bringing him right back right now.
Cut.
Speaking of Marcus, he goes to the closest men's room.
Going to the men's room, you have one guy walking out of there, his hands getting a little damp, going back to the seminars. A couple guys in the bathroom shooting shit. Oh, hey, I didn't know you were going to come down. It's good to see you. I'm glad. Hey, how's it working out there in Louisville? It's just crushing it. Crushing it. I can't even take it anymore. I need to hire some more. Got my brokerage set up. Yeah. Oh, broker now. Good times. All right. So how many agents you got working for you now? I got about 4 looking to expand into Nashville. Awesome. Nashville. I heard it's hot, hot. You go into the bathroom and you look around and there's no signs of Marcus.
He'll drop a pen and pick it up and look underneath the stalls.
Yeah, you see a couple soft shoes in there.
Not the same shoes as Marcus.
Not the same shoes as Marcus. You knew what shoes he was wearing. You didn't.
Right.
They're not his.
All right. So Hank will leave the bathroom, take a quick spin to the lobby, and go back to the Pine Room.
All right. And as you're walking back, so you got all your gear on now with like your.
Well, I've got a jacket,
Okay.
but he's got a leather thing.
Got
so
it.
I mean, someone might be able to see his weapon, but he's also got a badge. And
So as you're walking back, you feel somebody's hand hit you on the back of the shoulder, kind of quite suddenly. Hey, Tom, is that you? Hey, oh, sorry, my fault. You look like a buddy of mine from behind. He wears this kind of a similar hat. I'm sorry. I apologize.
okay, Hanks will relax his fist and then say, "Good day, sir."
Yeah,
And just
hey,
turn
sorry.
around.
And he's kind of looking at you, looking at your chest, seeing if you got like a name badge on. And he's like, oh, hey, sorry, I apologize. Here for the seminars?
Special seminar. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, hey, maybe see you one, Sorry. Again, sorry.
That's okay.
If somebody else does it though, they're probably looking for Tom.
So go back to the Pine Room.
Okay. Detective walks in without Agent Marcus.
I don't see Marcus.
Nope.
No sign of him in the bathroom. things are getting crowded out there too. Everyone's coming back.
He's probably doing FBI things. I mean, we haven't done this before, so I'm sure there's things just being done. I mean, right?
Well, that's why we were called in. Otherwise, Marcus could just handle it on his own, couldn't he?
Can you pardon me for 1 second? I have to make a quick phone call. I realize that I haven't called my sister yet.
Sure.
So I literally just step into the hall and I take my Nokia out and try to cup it to the din of the it's hot, hot, hot in Nashville. and and I dial and hoping to get Barb on the phone.
All right. So you dial and it rings. Third ring picks up. There's a brief pause. It's like, hey, you've reached Barb. You know what to do at the beep. Leave a message and I'll get back to you, maybe. Beep.
Barb, it's me. Just checking in. All right. I hope everything's good. If I understand if you're busy and you know, if as long as Pappy's okay, I'll try to check in with you tomorrow. And I hang up.
Beep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I real quick. I realize I'm talking too fast. I'm nervous in front of these guys. I try to get my composure. I run over to the first waitress giving out mimosas, and I grab one and I just chug it and stick it right back on her tray, and then walk back in.
Okay. With the heat in the July in Tampa, it's probably you have to see the sweat on the glass, but it tastes pretty good.
And they accidentally used extra pulp.
Right. Yes.
It was rough. It was rough going down. I can feel it. I need like a water now.
All right. So
do you come back into the Pine Room?
Oh yeah, I come back in
and you hear Dejesus saying, "So, Detective Williams, unless you want to go talk to the local police and see if you can become friendly with them and get some more intel on this Bernier family, I think that we should all get cozy in a cab and go check out the site."
Do you have any assets here, Lupita?
I've got everything in my bag. I just checked in, but I haven't even been to my room yet. And I can make some calls to DC, but I don't want to play that card yet.
Do you think we can get the locals to cooperate? I mean, I just have this State Department thing.
I do, but I'd rather know a little bit more about what's going on before we even contact them.
Well, I think the only lead we have is the family itself at this point.
Well, says Dejesus, suddenly thinking, looking at the professor, perhaps we should visit the library. You said that was an ancient mythical symbol, some cult worshiping it. Perhaps there's something that goes back in time here in the Tampa area. Perhaps there are some other cultists that might have done something. This might not be a new thing.
So I can do much better than that, and I can call my colleague, and he is a research classical research for classical Greek and antiquities, and I can give him a call and I can send him a really grainy facts, I'm sure, of this drawing I made, and see if he can do a little research for us and call us back. I'm not sure any local library or anything would have anything on core or CAS or YAS.
But what it might have is it might have old maps about what existed at that home. Did anyone else find it odd that Marcus decided that it was important for us to learn that this house was built new and purchased from Quadmark Housing Development while we are at a real estate convention? The universe speaks, my friends. It speaks.
There's a lot that doesn't add up here. Why have this meeting in this busy place? I don't understand.
Does Quadmark have like a booth here?
I will go check. And Dejesus stands and he leaves the pine room.
All right. The rest, you going to remain behind?
No, I need to immediately go out into the hall where that bathroom was and chug some water from the water fountain. There's this knot from this pulpy juice that I need to take care of. And I'm just looking around.
Okay.
I think Lupita feels some kinship with the detective here when the other two are out of the room. She's like, I don't like this. This is not how we normally do things.
Agreed.
Detective Williams, when you were close to Marcus, you could swear you got a whiff of alcohol on his breath. You've been doing beat cop stuff way too long not to recognize somebody that's had a couple. Peculiar, especially this early in the day.
Did Marcus seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've only talked to him a couple of times, not like the professor, where he says he works for them all the time. I've had like 3 conversations with the guy.
Same here.
I wouldn't know if this is how he always is or not. I got someone I can call back in the office in DC, but it's last resort.
Well, I wonder if there's any other incidents that have made the press recently.
Yeah, we can check the library.
Maybe a library visit would not be out of order.
I'm horribly tailing Dejesus, like horribly. I don't want to be by myself out here, and I see him, and I'm just wading through, kind of tailing him. I don't want him to know I want to buddy up. I'm gonna follow.
All right. Dejesus, you head out into the lobby. There's a few vendors along the halls with tables and cloths, with their logos and company names. Give me a luck check. So a luck check in Delta Green is a 50-50. You always want to roll low.
Oh, okay. So just roll a D100 then.
Yep.
All right. Actually, I'll do it in the chat. On Discord. 37.
37. You go down a few ways and you're like, okay, there's a brokerage firm, there's a developer, and then there is the developer that you're looking for. Quadmark Housing Development Company. It's got pens on the table, couple cups, mugs. Got some weird clippy things with magnets on them. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, hey.
Enjoying the seminar? He's looking at you, trying to see where your name tag is. Like,
no, sorry, I'm not.
No
I'm
name
not
tag?
with the seminar.
Oh,
no,
you're not?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
But even better, just my luck. My employer sends me down here to do some business. We're looking to expand here in the Tampa area. We might need some office buildings. And you know what? I haven't been here very long. But since I'm their point person, perhaps I want to relocate and bring the whole family down.
Oh, where are you from?
New York.
Oh, New York. Oh, yeah. Winter's got to be brutal. I mean, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
This is great. Like, it's like this all year.
See? Yeah. Living on Easy Street down here.
Yeah. How long you been in New York?
Oh, since I was a child.
Oh,
grew up there.
Ah, native. Okay, nice. New York City or Upstate?
New York City. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
New York City.
City. I could tell by the clothing. Yeah.
I don't like old houses though. I was thinking about something new. I don't like feeling like I'm imposing on anyone's history, if you know what I mean. Maybe I've watched, that one movie, the one with the house, Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Don't want any of that
the
going
little girl
on.
gets sucked into the TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ever since that, I wanted to know that there's just clean grounds work and no murders or abuse or any of that bad energy that lingers in the house. You know what I mean? That comes with all the old ones.
We all want to live in good neighborhoods, good schools, for sure. Yep, but we've definitely got some neighborhoods down here that are really good. Some good developments going on, but that's, there's also a movement to revamp some of the maybe some of the in the past might have been some seedier parts of town, and they're trying to reinvest. So Tampa, it's got some growth opportunities, and certainly you come down here and. So you're looking to build your own then? Have you looked at the neighborhoods that you want to get into or anything?
Well, so you're a development company, right? You just the model homes thing, and there's like 4 that I choose from. Is that kind of what you do? And you build new?
Well, and he kind of has a little gesture of amusement in his facial expression and says, "Oh, yeah, well, not exactly. We do custom homes. Typically, we don't deal with too much under 2,500 square feet." Upper mid-market to upper market threshold, custom builds, if somebody wants some special quality materials, things of that nature, we usually come into play. That's usually our niche. We're not really the cookie cutter place. That's that guy over there. And he points down the row a little bit. Good company, but just a different clientele is all.
I understand.
So is it just you, or do you have a family? Is it,
second marriage.
Married twice.
But I do have a daughter from former family.
Okay.
She can visit.
Oh,
easy.
Okay. Now, how old is your daughter? 17. Oh, okay. Oh, almost on, are you looking to move before she gets out of school, or?
Well, we'll have to look at the universities down here. Perhaps she'll come. Maybe she'll want to do it.
You got some great universities in the area.
Time with her father. Yeah. Exactly.
University of Miami, Florida State, really good institutions in our Division 2, 3 schools are just as good. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't catch your name.
My name is Donovan Dejesus.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Dejesus.
Yes. Maybe I'll stop back. I'll find out a little bit about what the work you do, and maybe talk to some of the people you've done work for. Do you recommend anyone?
Oh, we've got a few contacts that we could probably pass you along to, and certainly drum up some professional references for sure. Yeah.
Well, here, let me give you the number of my secretary. This will be back in New York, but she knows how to get a hold of me, and so I write down my number. And I give it to him. Basically, I'd like to talk to some of the people that you've done work for and see if they're happy or not. More than happy
to get some references for you, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And hey, I'm going to talk to some other people around here. If you could write down some references, I'll stop back later and perhaps you can give me a list.
Yeah. Well, could set up an appointment. How are you in town long, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We're looking at expanding some business ventures out here. So.
Oh, excellent. What type of work are you into?
Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, whoa. Okay. That's, I wish I would gotten into that a little earlier.
Big ticket there, right, my friend?
Holy cow, I can imagine the car you're driving. Huh? You look like a Jaguar kind of guy. You look like a Jaguar, maybe a sports car. Am I right? Yeah, I knew it. Yeah. Sure.
My grandmother has Midwestern values we don't like to talk about.
I see. Okay. Well, all right.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, here's my card, and reach out to me anytime. Yeah, you bet. Good to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Professor, what are you doing? You see this kind of thing go down from a little bit, unless you. I was right at the next table fiddling with magnets and chip clips and the pen holder attached thing to your belt.
Did you grab a bag and start putting things into it?
Like swag bag. As soon as he was like done talking, I went right to his table and like grabbed pens and I like winked at Donovan, like we're in it. Like I'm front row to the detective show. I love it. And but yeah, I didn't, invest myself into that, but I was definitely an ear and just more impressed with his New York fast talk and me being from Cowtown, Kansas, and all. So,
Well, I might be leading you back to the Pine Room now, because that's
fine.
where I'm heading back now with my intel. I'm actually shaking my head. I messed it up. I should have gotten closer to Tom Bernier, but
So,
I'll get there soon.
I
At
want
least now I can say I was sent by this company.
I take Donovan in confidence because he feels more on the level with me, and I don't know cop talk and I don't know big city, but I do, as we're walking back, I do say, um, I know we keep talking about research and all this stuff, but I think we really should just look at this door. Like, let's look at this house. Let's get a physical feel for it. I mean, there's nothing like, physical field research, looking at something or an artifact than pictures in a book. So I think we should go and these like got people with the guns. Can't they like canvass the neighborhood or something, or like ask neighbors if weird stuff has happened? I mean, I know we're relying on newspapers and things, but what about old fashioned, Starsky and Hutch slide across the hood and I mean, I'm not going to. I'm not going to slide across the hood, but hopefully somebody does.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but yeah, the gun carrying types, they seem to be cautious, and I suppose they have reasons for being so. They've seen more stuff like this than I have. I say as I open the door to the Pine Room.
All right.
I think Lupita has a notepad out, and she's working on something with Williams. She's got some bullet points going, which are basically like, we need to investigate the cult symbol. We need to surveil the property and get our eyes on it. We need to go to the library and check about history for the family. And then the final one is, I think they've been talking while you were having your escapades out in the front. And I think she realizes she's been trying to keep using the Marshal Service kind of in her back pocket, especially since she's kind of got a friend of hers covering for her. But I think she's realized there's a middle district of Florida for the Marshals. So there's an office in Tampa. So she has agreed, I think, with Williamson. She can visit there. They've got databases that she can actually go through to look up people's names, check their records, and all those sorts of things. So what that would entail is her having to go in and lie to them and say, I'm looking for this fugitive who's not really in the Tampa area, right? So that's why she was trying to avoid doing that. But I think you walk in on the tail end of her going through this checklist.
That's an awesome checklist. If you could reproduce that, should we put it in Discord or something like that and start working from it? Like if you just write it down?
Yeah, I can do that.
Because I think we need to actually do that.
I wanted to give Williams a chance to react.
To pine in. All right. So I look over. So Dejesus looks over your shoulder and says, that is a good game plan. And if anyone ever wants to talk to that family, I drop the business card down. It looks like I'm thinking about using this real estate office to do some work here in the Tampa area, and that Tom Bernier was given as a reference. Or Timothy Bernier, sorry. And I pick it up, put it in my breast pocket. What do you say, detective?
That's a good approach there, Dejesus. Not too bad for a New Yorker.
Want to take a break?
Sure.
Sure.
Right, let's take a 5-minute break, bathroom break, grab something to drink, and then we'll pick up from the conference room and see what you guys want to do.
Sounds good. I'm creating the list for Gabe now.
There you go. You get a little bit extra break then.
Is that everything that I mentioned? I was just sort of shooting from the hip there.
Oh, no, it's good. And I would recommend that we do 1 and 3 together first, and then 2, and I'm going to call it 5, the other ideas together. And then if you need to do 4, but then we could also just approach the family at some point. After 1 and 3 and 2 and 5.
Yeah, I would. I think Lupita would want to do the number 4, visiting her office, before we talk to the family.
I'm sure with all these real estate agents, there is a fax machine somewhere that people are faxing things back and forth. So I'm going to do exactly what I said and fax my colleague for further information. So I will be handling number 1.
Does the dossier have more on the family, kids?
Yes, it does. Looks like there's a photograph of the family. There's a African American gentleman, looks probably late 40s, early 50s. There is a Caucasian woman. You could expect that to be Evelyn and Timothy, and then 2 children, Chad and Catherine. Chad looks to be like a teenager, and Catherine looks to be, probably between 6 and 10 years old. It's got a family portrait. There's an address, obviously, to their home.
That's the 3591 Northridge.
It is. Yep. And then there's the news article about the vandalism. It's a very short piece, probably on the 3rd page of the paper.
Is it like a neighborhood rag or an actual Tampa newspaper?
Tampa newspaper, kind of a second class, probably a 2nd or 3rd ranked newspaper. Not like, not the Tampa Times or something to that effect. All these things I should probably Google, like what's the biggest newspaper in Tampa Bay or Tampa?
Tampa Bay Times.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Times.
Is there any inclination in that article of anything like again or before or like that this has happened?
No, I think it's an isolated incident. There isn't there. It's you guys don't know the neighborhood, so it could be the neighborhood. Who knows? But nothing that you could glean off of what you have. It's pretty sparse, actually.
All right, so I'm looking at this list. I sent out my, I was very nice. I bought someone a drink, maybe a steak, to promote beef, and I was able to use their fax machine, and I faxed the information over. And with all these realtors here, they should be able to get us information on the property. So I think about that before I get back to the room. And I'm wondering if I can talk to someone to see if there's a way for me to come back and show off to the rest of the group that I was able to get the information on the property, maybe deeds of former landowners and what have you of that area.
Okay. As you talk to some of the realtors and vendors that are at this seminar, it becomes quite apparent that some of the things that you're requesting are probably going to be at the Register of Deeds, things of that nature at the city. They can take down the address and get back to you with certain numbers, appraisals, and assessment numbers and things of that nature. They just don't have the means at the conference. Like, they have one computer that they bring to these, but it just happens to be like Rachel's, and she had to use it at the office today, so they didn't bring it to the table today. And this new thing, like internet and there's no place to plug it in to dial in to like these new resources that they have going on. They're just trying to get used to the software. So usually it's a call into the office to do some research and another call into the city assessor's office, getting some documentation. Takes a little time. Faxing.
So I'm not going to I'm not going to return to the room empty-handed. So I am going to grab some drink, a bottle of wine, and some glasses, and bring it back to the room. A little upset that I couldn't dazzle them with more intel, but I realized that Donovan probably has a good lead to maybe check out the property then, because of who he was talking to at the quad something property management.
Quad Mark.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a nice Merlot.
Right. What's Hank doing?
Hank will just continue to go over the file, compile some notes in his notebook.
Okay.
And just
What time of
waiting
day
till
is it,
we're ready to leave.
I'd say at this point it's afternoon, after lunch, so probably around 2 p.m.
Sorry,
Library's only open a few more hours, says Dejesus, standing up. I'm gonna go try to find it.
Yeah, if we're pouring over the dossier again, Lapita's going to be like, "We need to get going."
All right, I got a rental.
I say we hit the library.
Yeah.
No, we could all hit the library together, and we can all stake out positions tonight, and maybe do some overnight watch. See if we notice anything uncanny. Maybe even if we're quick enough at the library, we can get there around dinner time. See people outside their homes. If you just want to.
If all of this is within, if all of this was in Tampa city limits, how about we get a visual on the house first before we go to the library, just for recon purposes, or
we can drive.
Just to.
Absolutely.
I'm very curious about seeing the symbol live. That's very important to me.
Do you think it's still there? It's been 4 days or a week. It's been a week.
It was scratched in, so even if the fluid is not there,
From
they need a new door, don't they?
From her backpack, Lupita pulls out a Rand McNally atlas of Florida. So we have all the streets we can drive to, and she's got that part nailed. She's like, "I'll drive."
All right. So Lupita is going to drive.
I will say, though, on the way out, she's going to be like, "Where is Marcus? Should we check with the hotel management?"
I can do that. So
I grab the bag from my trunk of my Camry and throw it in the trunk of the rental.
Voluptuous.
Okay.
Hank will go up to the front desk and say, "Have you seen a gentleman about yay tall, little chubby cheeks, wearing a blue jacket?"
They're kind of looking around the lobby as if the person's out in the lobby. I'm not quite sure, sir. We have quite a guest list this week, obviously. I'm not sure. Do you have their name? I might be able to look up and see if they're registered as a guest. Marcus. Any Marcus? Marcus. Is that his last name, first name?
His last name.
Last name. Okay. Well, let me see. Marcus. I don't happen to have a Mr. or Mrs.
Mr.
Sorry, I don't have a Marcus registered, actually.
All right. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe check back later. Maybe they're late. Sometimes flights get in a little bit later than anticipated.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go to the bar and talk to the bartender. So we got there, what, about 10:30, you said?
Yeah, you guys trickled in probably a little before the noon hour.
So asked the bartender, you been here all day?
I guess shift started about 11. I get here about 10:30.
Okay.
You know,
You
can't
wouldn't
open up
happen
till
to,
usually about 11. So
You wouldn't happen to see a guy about yay tall, kind of chubby cheeks, wearing a blue jacket?
buddy, that's my life, man. Chubby cheeks, blue jackets. I mean, look at some of these guys. I'm sorry. Are you with, you don't strike me as one of these guys. Are you a realtor?
No.
Oh,
No.
I didn't think so. I can't place that accent. Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Chicago. Oh, yeah, that's where it's from. Yeah, Chicago. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Look at some of these jokers. Right? He's like, hey, was it like, right, Max? He like points at this guy at the corner of the bar. It's like, look at Max. He looks like one of those guys. Max like, piss off.
All right. Well, I don't know if we're going to find anything. So he'll join the group.
Hey, where are you going? You
and-
don't want to order a drink or what's up?
I'll be back later tonight.
All right. I'll keep it cold for you there, Chicago.
All right. I appreciate it.
You betcha. What's up, Max? Another one for you? Max like, I don't know. I got to pace myself. Don't have the ball and chain down here with you this week. So I'll pour one on the house for you. Max like, whoa, okay. Sounds good. What is XTC doing?
Oh, well, I would be standing outside of the hotel waiting for, I think if we're all driving together, get in the car and get this investigation going.
Okay, so you're going to accompany Lapita and Gladstone?
Yep.
Hank, are you going with them or are you going to do something else?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Everybody gets in the car. Okay, so the car pulls up. Nice rental. Plenty of room. Clean. Big
Crown
trunk.
Vic, man.
Yeah, Crown Vic, man. You throw a big couple bodies in that trunk.
Damn right.
All right. And you're going to go to the residence first or?
Right,
Yeah.
bye.
Okay. All right.
So who's got shotgun?
Hank does.
Okay, so
Not me.
Hank, she'll hand you the map, and
Okay.
I would imagine maybe she's marked where the house is and where the library is, exactly with the big old wheel. Yeah, exactly. She looks very comfortable behind the giant wheel of the car, though, and she pulls out and off they go, making good time. Hank can navigate.
I pull a little vial out of my my coat jacket and put a drop on my tongue. Close it up, put it back in my jacket.
All right.
You just see Lupita's eyes in the mirror. Saw that, and back on the road.
I bury my nose back into my my books that I grabbed out of my bag.
It's probably, it's before rush hour, so you could probably get there in 20 minutes across town. You find it without any problems with Hank's great directions, even though it might be one street you had to double back on, but not too bad. You enter the neighborhood, and it seems like the houses are just getting nicer and nicer, green lawns all over the place. And you notice when you come down North Ridge Avenue that not too far down the street, especially Lapita and Hank notice a sign on the side of the road, yellow sign, and it says, slow, deaf child. and 25 mile an hour zone. And as you pull up into the neighborhood, like some of the realtor had mentioned to Dejesus, that it's, well, actually, I don't know where you guys get the info. Somebody tripped it up with good neighborhood. Seems like people walking their dog every once in a while. It's still kind of midday, so people are still at work. So it's not really bustling.
It's quiet.
It's quiet. You see maybe an HVAC van as you pass down the street, parked in the driveway with a repair guy, maybe coming out of a house with tool belt on. And as you approach the residence, you could see you're like 35, okay, 3,500 should be on the right-hand side. 3,589, 3,591 is up and to your right. So you can park right in front of it, or if you want to park down the street from it, or if you just want to drive right by it, it's up to you.
Is it a gated community?
It is not gated, no. But the house is, and you could see from where you're kind of approaching it, where you're kind of taking your time, it is recessed behind a high wall. It might have a large garden, which is not unusual for neighborhoods like this. You notice that there are places that have swimming pools. If you look kind of at an angle or behind the house, it's got fences around the swimming pools, some slides.
Are these like big brick fences or like wooden pale fences that you can see through? What kind of fences are we talking about?
Concrete, but with kind of a pattern to them where you can kind of see through them.
Yeah. They're decorative, but they're substantial.
Correct.
Okay.
There's several fruit trees in the neighborhood. You can make out most of those.
I think Lupita will try to park somewhere that's not directly in front of the house, but lets us get an angle on it to see either the front door or see if there are cars in the driveway or if there are people in the yard, that kind of thing.
So there is, as you pull up, many of the houses kind of differ from the length or distance from the sidewalk to the house. The Berniers are quite a bit back. As a matter of fact, if you were to drive up, you'd have to go through a gate to go into the driveway. So the community is not gated, but they just happen to have,
They have, and they're like the iron gates that you would have to get out and unlock type of thing?
Yes. Remote, probably, in some fashion.
Okay.
Is there like an intercom box or something there?
Yep.
And is there like a pedestrian gate too, or is there a mailbox like out on the wall?
Good question. I would say that the pedestrian gate, you can walk right in. They just keep the cars out. People from driving in. So there's a gate, but it doesn't, you don't know if it's locked or not. But there is a pedestrian gate next to the main ones. And if you do look past a little bit further, you can you recognize the house being made out of like stucco. Kind of probably keeps it cool down here in Tampa.
And can we see the front door?
It's quite a distance. You can see it. You notice that it's yellow, but you're kind of a distance away from it.
You can't make out a symbol in it.
You can.
It has been replaced.
You could see some marks on it, but it's not as distinguished as getting closer. So you can probably deduce that it hasn't been replaced yet. The house is pink stucco, actually, and has a gray roof. And there's no cubby holes or basements, which is typical. So if you're from the neighborhoods that have basements, you'll notice that they don't have them down here in this area.
And are there any woodlots of a significant size nearby, behind the houses, or just as part of the neighborhood?
Are you saying like houses made out of wood specifically, or
no? I'm talking about like
forest,
not forests, but like stands of trees.
Sure.
Yep.
Palm trees
or parks
are pretty prevalent. Probably.
Is there a green belt around the house, near the house, parks?
For
Or
using
is
the
it-
real 3591 North Ridge, no, there is not.
There's no forests.
So they're
There's nothing.
surrounded
It's
by
all
houses.
suburbia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deep depths of suburbia, but there is a river right there.
Detached garage, garage in the house, and other cars.
The garage is attached, and you do not see any cars.
Maybe nobody home, Lupita says.
Well, our intention was to get to the library before closing hours.
Yep.
Do we continue on?
I believe we do.
Everybody seen enough?
And I mean, the door's still at least scarred, and it probably won't get repaired today. So,
But I'll say this: maybe as we're leaving, Lupita will cruise pretty slowly right past that front gate you described, Sean. So to give especially the people on the right hand side of the car, like the best look possible at the front door to see if we can see it. But we're not going to linger.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a distance. I mean, it's a decent sized driveway, like up to the house. It actually goes up in a circle so people can come back through the same gate. You could see and make out the door. You know that it's the same door, but some of the details are obviously not as clear. As a matter of fact, looking at the photo, you can get more details out of it because it's a closer shot. But you'd get all the details of the home you can see through the gate pretty clearly as you look up the driveway.
So
Okay.
I ask Williams to stop for a second as I'm looking out there, and I
Lapita,
say to Donovan next to me in the back seat, and I'm sorry, Lupita, and I say to Donovan in the back seat, you still have that quad mark card?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you think you could be an employee of Quadmark for 5 minutes and maybe check out that door? Just say, they would know that's who built their house and who's part of the neighborhood, and maybe it's maybe you have someone interested in the house that there's an offer.
The role I'd prefer to play when it came down to it would be someone who's interested in working with Quadmark and referring to Timothy as a reference. But I think posing as an insurance company representative would maybe make sense there.
I'm just making suggestions because I'm very interested in that door.
I think you should go pose as a Quadmark employee.
Me?
Yes. That way I can keep my cover and be me.
I look to the
Later,
front.
if I
I
need
look
to
to the
talk to
front
him.
seats. I look to the front seats of the professionals, and I'm trying, and I'm using my 70 humint to discern what they're thinking about this plan at the moment.
what's Lapita and Hank think about
so
that plan?
what time is it?
Now, it took you about a half hour to get there, so about 2:30, a
Okay.
little after 2:30.
I would say there's a very low chance that the door would be replaced or repaired today. So it's not going to change. So we can either get there later this evening or tomorrow morning, and you should be able to examine it.
That is all I need
Professor.
from the law enforcement professionals. That's it. You do not have to sway me.
Lupita leans over a little bit into Hank's part of the cabin and looks out his window. Are there cameras on the fence?
There are not.
Okay.
Yeah, they would be nice and big and chunky in 1993. You
They
would
would.
definitely see them.
So she just says, "We'll come back after we know more," and she
Okay.
pulls away. If he's getting out of the car, he's doing so at speed.
Click.
Yeah, that's right. Buckle up, Buttercup. To the library, Sean.
All right, to the library. Being the nice neighborhood, a library is not too far away. Probably takes, a 5-minute drive down the road and you find the library. Looks like they close early on Fridays, about 4 o'clock local time.
We just get there.
Yeah, you get there shortly. It's probably quarter to 3 in the afternoon.
All right, newspaper, real estate, news, family news, kind of the 3 areas we're looking at, right?
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty then.
We can divide and conquer, or Lapita can get us coffee because she doesn't like doing this kind of work.
Well, Hank will dive right into the newspaper stuff.
Okay.
Looking for similar crimes. Anything that's happened in the neighborhood recently.
All right. Give me let's see. I would say search, but I will give you a little benefit for your criminology background because you know what to look for as you search through all these things. But I'm going to nail you on criminology at a minus 20.
Well, I've got search and criminology at 60 each.
Okay. So go ahead and roll either one.
Go.
Okay. All right. So you come across you go into this reference section of the library and it's got kind of boring, right? All the books and all the tomes look exactly the same for like a big chunk of a shelf, and realize there's some books on property and some of the records that they keep in place. And one is on the local history, briefly in the development, the boom of Tampa, it's called. And this one sits out a little bit because it's different than all the rest of the encyclopedias that are there. You kind of page through it and you come across the section where it talks about before some of the housing market is what it is today in 1993. And you cross-reference it with a rudimentary map that's in the front of the book that puts this across the spread. That at one point in time, you notice that the place Northridge Avenue, before it was developed, they have some pictures, and it used to be occupied by a large scrapyard from 1913 to 1988 until they got rid of the scrapyard and purchased it, and the city redeveloped the area. And you look at some of the pictures from, it's got some pictures that go through the timeline month over month and years. And it goes from this scrapyard to, bulldozed land to, some decently landscaped area. And then you notice that houses are being put up in the lots, which is where the Bernier house resides. But a lot of the houses are similar, right, in nature. A lot of them have some gates, some not so much, set back from the sidewalk, and even listing some of the cost and prices of the properties for its time. So 3,500 square foot properties in 1987-ish, going for $350,000. So from fairly to-do houses. But otherwise, not a whole ton of info, like no deed or anything like that. It just happens to be this relatively thin book on the local area.
In the dossier, did it list Timothy's job?
It does. So it briefly says Timothy Bernier, age 49, microchip engineer, degree from Caltech, and looks like he is a microelectronics engineer.
And anything on his company?
I think it would say is probably employer.
I mean, more just cross-referencing that with any news stories on the company.
Nothing new other than different technologies that they are researching. Some hot new microchip technologies on the x86 architecture, trying to do something better than the Intel 386 flagship processor, potentially putting in a math coprocessor that's not usual for the era. Intel is rumored to be researching that as we speak.
I would like to check phone books to see if we can get the name of the scrapyard that was there, because I'm sure the phone number is still, and the name of it is still in a phone book somewhere in the library, if it's only a few years ago.
Sure. Yeah, go back to 1988 and you could find Hank's scrapyard.
Any weird crimes happen there?
I think you'd probably want to check with the local PD for that info. Is probably where you'd want to get it. Some criminal records that might be on file. But you see, like, in the yellow pages, there's like this guy's face with this hat. It says Hank's on it, and it's got the phone number and address. It's like a quarter page in the yellow pages. Probably paid a mint for it. It's like, hey, your auto's not dead to us. Come to Hank's. We'll take it off your hands. Premium prices for your beaters.
Is this the kind of library that has newspapers on like microfiche going way back?
Microfiche, yeah, way back if you go that way. Otherwise, they have them on those long bamboo sticks. Gabe's laughing. Those long bamboo sticks that they put in every day that you kind of pick off the rack and go through.
Yeah, so Hank wants to look at the last week of news stories.
Okay. They index them as well, so you could probably look up the name of the scrapyard, for example, and it would cover a long range.
You go through some of the newspapers. Let's see.
I would that up.
Give me a search check, Hank. Anybody else doing anything specific?
I want to place a phone call to Dr. Wes Sampson, the person I faxed earlier. My fellow academic, and see if I'm right with my intuition on that symbol and what it means. And I want to ask him if he remembers or knows anything about that coming up in the very recent times, with anything local, anyone studying it, anything in his circles that he would have heard about this, because it's definitely very specific.
Let's see. I want to check something here. Okay. So he doesn't come across. He's like, hey, yeah, I haven't found anything anything behind it other than what you already know, which is, I think you probably know this. It's the Greek mystery cult core, the queen of the underworld, but I haven't found anything stranger than that offhand. Where did you come across this? What are you're writing a book?
No, it was just I was thinking about it. I came across it when I was looking at some old dig site stuff that I was just trying to catalog, and I almost thought I remember hearing something about it recently, and if anyone was going to know, Wes, you would. So I figured, if you heard it in the news, or if anybody was talking about something. So that's all.
I'll take a look at it, but it doesn't. That's nothing more than that. And also, I might check with a couple of colleagues. Chuck and Diane maybe, but they may know. But I don't know. It's nothing. Nothing's really ringing a bell off of what you already know.
All right, well, I'm not at university right now, so I'm
Where
in
are
Tampa.
ya?
I'm looking at some real estate. Remember, I've been thinking about finally settling down here, Florida. I know I keep going back to Kansas and not really committing, and so I figured I'd take a few days, drive around, and see if there's somewhere I want to set my roots.
Florida, yeah, that's nice. Got some hurricanes, but they're not as bad as any of these tornadoes we have. So
maybe maybe I can talk to maybe getting some ranching going on down here. I mean, there's plenty of grazing land. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I never picture Florida and ranching, but whatever, it's.
You can't eat alligator all the time,
whatever
right?
floats. Well, that's true. Whatever floats your boat, Jeremiah. I mean,
yeah. So if you find anything out, don't send it to my office at University of Florida. Just I'll check in with you, and you can just let me know. But I appreciate your help.
All right. Yeah, you bet.
Don't forget, it's your turn in our chess game. So when I come by,
yeah, I think I've got my move already set up and already planned.
And I have the next 3.
All right, Jer. I'll talk to you later then.
Click.
Okay. Hey, safe travels.
All right, Sean. Dejesus would do 2 things. Hearing him talk and getting no leads on this mystery cult. I would search the newspapers for references to that. But before I do that, I want to give my contact with Quadmark Housing a call on a payphone. So I call up the number on the business card.
Yeah, Brad, Quadmark.
Hey, Brad,
talking to Brad.
Tell you what, I just saw you earlier today. This is Donovan from the. Are you still at the convention, the conference?
Yeah.
You remember me? I was thinking about maybe moving here, and I asked you some reference. Yeah, Mr. New York here. Yeah,
New Yorker. Yeah, nice sharp dresser, Jaguar, right? Sports car guy.
Have you been in New York?
I don't. I try to stay away from up there. I'm down.
And those
I'm good
that
down
live
here.
in New York try to stay away from driving. Anyways,
fair. That makes sense. That makes sense. Like, look, that's why I've never been there, so I don't know.
I've got my eye.
Where was my head thinking? You guys probably pay for a car payment a month just to park
right?
it.
Yeah, no,
right?
you're not wrong. And so part of my excitement about relocating here is I might get a Jaguar and look at all these roads I can drive around down here. It'll be great. Anyways, Jaguar, that's a great idea. I look forward to it. But did you get those references for me? Is there anyone I can talk to about getting some quality housework done in the area?
Not yet. I mean, we just talked like an hour ago.
Oh,
I
thought you might have been ready because I told you just to go ahead and get a list ready for me.
Hey, I know, I apologize. This seminar thing is just taking up a lot of my time. I'm trying to, if I were in the office, I'd probably have it to you in a couple hours, but because I'm here and then did I mention the computer thing that
All right, I understand.
we've got?
Tell you what, Brad, how about tomorrow? I'll give you a call.
Tomorrow. Yeah. What time? What are you thinking? You early riser?
I'm an early riser. You think you can have it ready for me? Whenever you think you
Okay.
can have those names down for me.
I'll bring them to the seminar tomorrow. It's the last day. And then people are flying out late in the afternoon. I'm probably wrapping up then, but I could have it to you
right,
by the time
fantastic.
I show up here.
All right, look forward to seeing you tomorrow then.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, you betcha.
I hang up. And I would research the gods. Oh, well, I have some notes here. I would look through the big books, the encyclopedias, just trying to learn. Well, no, not the encyclopedias, the news. Looking to see if there's any mention of this mystery cult devoted to core in local papers, because that would be really weird.
How long do you research?
Until the closing time.
Like an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, about an hour. Okay. So hour goes by. Anybody else doing anything in that time?
I think Lupita actually, with them tackling all the research, if there's time, Sean, she would probably drive to the office I mentioned earlier downtown and either try to get a little bit of work done there, or more likely she's just setting herself up for being able to go in the next day, introducing the fact that she's in town chasing this fugitive. She needs to use some of their resources, and she'll be in the morning type of thing. So she'll use that time to do a loop with the car and meet with the local office and then come back and pick everybody up.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If it will aid our research, if we had more time, I would like to talk to the librarian and flash my university card and talk about master's degrees and say it's extremely important that we could we need a little bit more time. It's important. We have to get this done before tomorrow. I implore you. So if that will help Donovan in any way, I wish to do that.
Give me a persuasion check. It's like, I hate to it's a Friday before the weekend.
I know. And unfortunately, research doesn't know the day of the week. So let's see. Here we go. Well, why can't I roll this? Sweet. There we go. Oh, so close.
So unpersuasive.
If it were any day but Friday, think about it. We open tomorrow at 11. If you'd like to, come in at 11. Saturdays we don't have a lot of people here, but I'm afraid I'd have to lock up.
I appreciate what you do, so thank you.
You're welcome. So research in the hour that you're at the library doesn't come up with a lot of anything specific for the area and the news and occult. You can find plenty of different occult books. Aleister Crowley's stuff is prevalent. Other authors speculating on, typical occult and rituals and Wiccan and witchcraft and anything that you would be able to find in a library of a decent size, but nothing specific to the only mention of this particular incident was the similar paper that was in the actual dossier that somebody, was kind of clipped out, saying how it was a rare incident that occurred in this neighborhood, but they want to take things like this serious, and that the police are, upping their patrols.
So I close the books, time's up, and I say, tomorrow we might want to try to figure out who owned Hank's scrapyard, see if there's still anyone we could talk to from the way back. But thank you, librarian, for your assistance.
Yes, I hope that you found what you were looking for. Of course, she's been asking you throughout the hour that you're there.
Oh, there's so much to learn about. You wouldn't happen to, on our way out then, Hank's scrapyard. Do you know if any of those owners how we might contact them? I know this is just like, just no chance, right?
Give me a luck roll.
Since you're asking. Oh, yeah, that's right. Luck roll is just a 50-50.
Yeah.
So unlucky.
Yeah. I don't know whatever happened to Hank, actually. I think he retired and then he might have passed away. It's been a little while since he's sold the scrapyard. I think his son took it over, and then, they made a killing off the land. I mean, they had that whole area out there.
This is such a large community. I'm impressed that you know Hank personally and know the family. What's their last name? Maybe we can hunt them down. Hank Ford. All right.
The Fords. Yeah, the Fords.
See? I should have asked you straight away. Always ask a librarian.
No relation to Henry. Even though there's similarities.
Yes.
No relation.
He used to get that a lot, I think.
I can understand. I believe it. Well, thank you. Thank you for all your time. And I see now that I've kept you a couple minutes. I'm sure you need to what are you doing after work tonight?
Oh my, I'm going home. I have to go and feed my cats, and
they're probably hungry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Cats keep you like clockwork, so I'll get out of your hair.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. And you've been so kind. I just wish that everybody that came in here was just as nice as you are. I mean, so sharp dresser and boy, and that accent of yours, boy, and you're smooth. Don't come across too many like you every day.
Yeah, I'm not from here. Well, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. If I have more questions, I'll be sure to ask you first thing.
Oh, that's thank you. Well, hey, I appreciate those that appreciate books. All right, so it's 10:30 my time. I know it's whoever's on the East Coast. You're on the East Coast right now, Harrigan, right?
+1. I'm in Atlantic time, man.
Are you really? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it's fine. I don't care. It's 12:30 a.m., but I'm good to go.
All right. Otherwise, I know Lou's on the East Coast.
Yeah, never bothers me. Whatever.
Okay.
You sleep later.
Hoos is
8:30.
Hoos is like just getting started. He's like 2 hours. He could catch another game.
Yeah, he's playing one more game after this.
It depends on what you want to do. It might be a good place to stop just in the game itself. Depending on where you guys want to go. It's the end of kind of the business day, but that's not to say that you can't do anything else. Do we just drop somebody?
I think
he drops every 2 hours. Yeah. That's just what Discord does to him.
Sean, I would say you're the one who knows pacing-wise kind of how far we are. Like, is it worth it to try to get another half an hour in? It might be. Right, to try to get another scene or two done to get us further progressed, or are we already like on the cusp of things? You know what I mean?
We could do another half hour. My only fear is if you get into something that's gonna drag out past the half hour.
Cut it off.
I can cut it for sure, but just something to be aware of.
Well, isn't our next step to have you go into the office, the marshal's office?
Yeah, And so then, if he wants to play that out.
And then we presumably go visit the house again and do the knock.
Yep.
And then leave us on the cliffhanger.
Interjecting there. Maybe we do the knock. Depending on what Lupita finds out,
Right.
I kind of had an idea that we would just kind of watch overnight. Although I guess maybe there's no reason to do that because,
We could,
right? Yeah.
or both.
Perhaps there's no reason to do that because there's just one incident of vandalism that has a friendly thinking it's notable. So let's, if you don't mind, Sean, I think we're all agreed in Agent Lark going to the office.
Marshal office.
Okay. Let's go to the marshal office. You probably left from the library from dropping these guys off. You didn't go in, I'm guessing.
I did not. I mean, you tell me whether she has time to go to the district office in downtown, or whether it's the next morning when she gets to do that. Right?
You can probably fight yourself downtown in the traffic that's going to start bubbling up
Friday,
around the rush hour. Friday rush hour start a little bit early. You can get there. Many of the folks in the office may start to be ducking out depending on what they've got on their caseload. But you could get there. You'll get timing wise. You can get there before 5 local time.
So it'll probably be then after the library closes, right?
Well,
we're waiting.
Library
Yeah, we're waiting
closes
for you to
at
come
4.
back, and I'm like, man, I should have took my car.
So if you didn't stick around the library very long, you could probably get there.
It depends on whether or not she thinks she could get in and out. She wouldn't want to leave the guys high and dry. And if it would take her 30 minutes or 45 minutes to fight downtown and then fight her way back, she probably wouldn't go to the office that night.
Okay.
Is it more advantageous to go there with less people there, or no?
Not really.
Okay.
I think it's probably not that huge an office anyway. So
right. So you would probably predict, with the distance that it's at and the time of the day, and it's a Friday, you're probably going to get back to the library late, and these guys will be sitting around like Jay and Silent Bob outside the library waiting for their ride. Or they could call a cab. There's public transpo too, or. Okay.
All right. So I have a different idea.
Okay.
Which should be, I think she's outside while we're doing the research. She's checking her watch. She probably even tries to fight traffic for a little while going downtown. Then she's like, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Bails out, turns around, goes back to the library. So around about 10 after 4, because I think you guys tried to keep the library open for a little while. Lupita is going to suggest that they drop her downtown, and she's going to go into the office at like 4:30, 4:45, and piss people off by making them stay. But she's like, I need to get in tonight because I suspect the office is not open tomorrow.
Correct.
On a Saturday.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So the bottom line is she'll pick them up shortly after 4, and she's going to be like, I got to go downtown. I'm going to try the office tonight before it closes. It closes at 5. So she's going to basically try to beat the rush downtown and get in the door with 10 minutes to go and say, hey, I need to spend an hour on the computer. Right.
Okay.
That's her whole deal.
Okay. So you get downtown and you go in there, and there's the front receptionist to the field office that's up front wants to, ask, she's kind of putting stuff in her purse and everything and packing up. And then you walk in and she's like, oh, sorry, we see you on Monday.
Her Lupita's badge comes out. She's like, maybe nobody called you, but we've got a fugitive in the area. I'm down from DC. Lupita Caneta, I'll sign in. I'll be responsible for locking up if you need me to. But I need to get access to the systems so I can run some checks.
Deputy Lupita. All right. Yeah. Go ahead and sign in.
She does.
You guys need to just, sometimes there's work-life balance, Lupita. How old you look pretty young. Yeah, you're a tenacious one, I bet. Big up-and-comer, trying to make ranks. But here, let me give you just a piece of advice. She's like middle-aged, probably been around different field offices from just the interaction you've had with her. She's like, let me just give you a piece of advice, sweetheart. Just take it one day at a time. Like, there's folks that pound this pavement like you can't believe, and it just leads to bad health, bad habits, crutches, and vices. It's okay to be ambitious. It's just a word of warning from Shirley.
Lapita nods. It's good advice. I'll try to keep it in mind. I'll be as quick as I can tonight. My flight was late. That's why I'm late getting here.
All right, fair enough. All right, so here's a temporary key card. Slides in the door. You'll have access to this room in the conference, this main entry, and then there's a conference room down the hall. All the rest of the offices you won't have access to, but you should be able to get the resources you need. Is there anything else that you need?
No, as long as I can get the systems, I think that's, get access to the computer is what I need.
There's a computer. It's running Nav version 3. So are you familiar with Nav?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have it in DC.
Okay. I figured as much. We just got it down here, so you guys are always the ones to get it first. So you should be able to navigate. That's in the conference room. There's a couple terminals. You should be able to log in from there.
Thank you. I think one of the things we saw, by the way, is before Lapita went into the office, she's wearing this blue windbreaker, right? And she reversed it. So it becomes a U.S. Marshals windbreaker on the back. So she can flip it. And it either has the name or it doesn't. So she's got the Marshals windbreaker on. She's got her badge hanging off her belt as she's walking through the place. So her intention here, Sean, is to get access to even though the 256 color VGA monitors are out there now, this is probably still an orange screen or a green screen.
Total green screen.
When we're talking feds.
Hell
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's on a green screen system searching, and I imagine there's probably big file cabinets nearby as well that she'll be cross-referencing or digging into. So she's going to basically, the other guys have the car and can go. Maybe she'll ring them to pick her up or something like that, or get a taxi. But she expects to be here for a couple of hours. The intention being looking up the family, the cult, the property, all around like criminal records, federal investigations, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
She's willing to spend hours at it if necessary.
Sounds
being young, she's probably not that experienced with the system.
Okay. Nope, that's fine. All right. So, with Hank's research, the library research, the field marshal office research that Lapita's digging through, and the search that she has, I don't even think.
Scrapyard too, she'd be looking for, and that owner if they relayed that information.
Sure. So you can get into certain state agency networked computers that are through dumb terminals and mainframes and things of that nature. And a lot of the information that you guys find is pretty mundane. There's no huge criminal activity. Hank's scrapyard is just what it is. A place that had this huge amount of land that the city basically was threatening. What is it called?
Eminent domain.
And thought it would be good to be developed. There's a little bit of controversy around it, but in the end, Hank sold out and went and retired and sipping Mai Tais in Key West every day. His son was to take some of the inheritance and things of that nature. The occult piece, no information on any local occult crimes or incidences through any of the records formally, specifically through the criminal network that you have access to, Lapita.
Yep.
Let's see. Property. You find out that Tim has lived there for about 6 years. So bought it back in 1987. Paid $350,000 for the property he resides in. And let's see. Construction permits have been, pretty minimal. I think there was one for maybe the swimming pool that was put in after the fact. Maybe some mild remodeling, new roof, but nothing. Actually, probably Not even a new roof.
No complaints against them. No past convictions for the whole like extended family. And okay.
No, you find out that this is his second marriage. So he was married to, you drum up another wedding certificate that is not his current wife. So Evelyn is his current wife. And they've been married 7 years, I believe. Let me make sure I'm right on that.
She will dot matrix print everything that's of value.
And then you got to fix the tracking halfway through.
And then rip the perforated edges off.
You're like, oh no.
All of that.
Yeah, they've been married for nearly 7 years.
Okay.
He originally resided in Chicago before he came down to Tampa and was married to a woman by the name of Sarah Garrison. And she is, at one point in one of the records, she was a member of the Chicago PD.
Yeah. You see Lupita's pen underline that on the printout.
Okay.
With the idea that she's going to have a detective to talk to about it.
And the birth certificates of the kids are of Timothy and Sarah.
So the kids are from the first marriage.
Correct.
First marriage. What about whereabouts or living or deceased?
Sarah is
Sarah?
known to be in Chicago. There's no found death certificate.
But also no record, no criminal, no complaints, right?
No criminal record or complaints, and there is there's no indication.
Restraining orders, right? And all that stuff.
Looks like there was a discharge from the force, a retirement of some sort.
For whom?
Sarah.
For Sarah.
For Sarah.
Honorable or dishonorable?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
Maybe Hank can give a phone call later.
She is 46 years old, African American female.
If she can get a picture, she'll horribly print that as well.
Okay. Might be like a fuzzy badge picture or something.
A dot matrix picture.
Yeah. It's like ASCII. It's ASCII printed.
There could even be a photo printer, though.
Well, that's true. You could get like
93,
yeah.
The magnetic printer that all the paper curls. Is it the static printing?
Electrostatic or whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, not to drag this out too long. If she doesn't find some of that sort of pointed, because I mean, all this information would be aimed at criminal records and all that kind of stuff, right? If she's not finding that, then I think we're seeing a lot of scenes of her working in the dark with the glow of the green screen in her face, with her stomach rumbling because she hasn't eaten all day, and eventually she'll give up when it's probably like 9 or 10 at night, something like that.
Yeah. It's getting pretty late, and the last thing that you might come across is the divorce papers, and then the custody suit, where Timothy gets 100% custody of the kids.
And was it contested?
Yeah.
Okay.
They found the mother unfit.
Okay, but there's no other information on Sarah beyond that in terms of her being having residency at mental institutions or having been hospitalized or anything like that?
No, nothing to that extreme. Nope.
Okay, we'll have the gumshoe knock this door down the next day.
Sounds like a plan. She was, I think, trying to find out how long she was on the police department. I don't remember how long she was on there. For a little while. I'm surprised I don't have that in front of me.
So are the three of you getting dinner and drinks somewhere at that crappy hotel, or did you go somewhere else?
I think we should be casing the house.
Okay.
I also bring up the fact that, the strange disappearance of Marcus, and me trying to think of detective shows and things I've seen. I say to Hank, is there a surveillance camera at the hotel maybe when we get back, and we can see if did Marcus leave the building? Is he there? It may be a dead end. I just think that's interesting.
It's a good idea there, Professor.
So I'm very glad to help. And also, the one thing that is bothering me is there's been no disturbance. There's been no police reports. There's been no anything other than one small article in a newspaper about defacing property.
There is a report on record from the police of the.
Oh, from the police for that.
Yeah,
okay.
Evelyn filed a report with the police, and they came out and took a picture of the.
I was just going to say that's something that Caneta would have definitely checked on if she could get access to that police report.
For sure, yeah, you bring that up, no problem. Yeah,
I was just trying to figure out what was the flag for this to be something to check out. So,
well,
it was a friendly. A friendly called it in,
which is the biggest mystery of all as to who that is and why. Yeah,
that's still irking Hank, right? But you can't won't give you any information on the friendly. So,
gotta protect your friendlies from investigators like us, agents like us.
Otherwise, you scare them away with your persistence and overbearing in interrogation tactics.
I'm looking for the perfect light in the hotel that we could use.
Yeah.
Caneta all done at the office?
Are you all done? You said.
Yeah, is Caneta? Yeah, is Lapita all done?
Give me a bureaucracy check, Lapita.
Let's see. Okay, stand by.
At a +10.
Are you able to add it to the?
No, just.
Okay, he's got a 40. Oh, look at that! 100.
Wow, critical failure.
Yeah. So
sweet.
You broke the computer. You erased files.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Crit fail. Crit.
Okay.
100.
Sean, this is how we ended our game too. You crit
I
roll.
will keep that in mind, sir. Thank you very much.
Check your box.
Oh yeah.
The box check.
So I want you to hit me, Sean. I've got ideas if you want them, but I think you should hit me.
I'm open to ideas, but I'm more or less probably planting something you screwed up and you don't know about.
Love it. Love it.
Totally fine.
It'll probably come back and bite you in the ass.
You left a couple of breadcrumbs or entire loaves of bread.
Left it logged
I was thinking
on.
all through the system. There's like signs of her trying to access shit she shouldn't be trying to access.
For sure.
All through them.
Yeah, going to catch hell for it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing in Florida?
Like,
researching stuff you shouldn't be researching. DC office calling.
The screen froze. You can't get out.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna see it tomorrow. Like you can't get it off.
The computer locks up, and
I gotta say she has to unplug it, but it won't turn back on.
Oh, no. That's bad.
I think I think the DC office has found out why is one of their agents in Florida that's not tasked to go down there, poking around on a computer of theirs.
Love it.
Okay. I'll accept whatever you do with that.
But we'll see. We'll see. I think we're good. I think you guys got more info, so you can determine what you want to do the next time we play, which is on a Tuesday.
13 days from now.
2 weeks from today. Yesterday. Yeah. Are we good?
We're
Yeah.
good.
Pick up Lupita and we're staking it out, I guess, right?
Well, while she was researching, we should just checking the house out.
Yeah.
See what's going on. Maybe Sean could do that off camera.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys you're gonna, I imagine, all go maybe to the same hotel, kick it, unwind after a day's travel, and what you've done, and then you can certainly have dinner with each other or not, or meet up for a drink or not. And then I would imagine if you do that, you're talking amongst yourselves. If there's things that you want to investigate or talk, that's fine. We can use Discord for that. And I'm happy to respond to any of that stuff if it's questions up in the air. But it'll be
just
only with
one. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did Lupita say, "Hey, pick me up around this time," or was it, "I will call you and we will come get you"?
I will call you because she didn't know how long she'd be.
Yeah, so she probably calls you later in the evening, 9 or 10. I mean, you got a lot of info, but it took you a while to dig around.
Yeah,
Soon she's going to call Hank, right? She's going to call Hank.
Most of the time,
yeah, she's calling Hank.
Most of the time is printing and the speed of the computer.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the other thing that she did wrong is she ran the printer out of paper. There's no paper left in the office now.
Oh my goodness.
the ribbons are dry.
That is not what you get for a critical 100, sir. That is not.
Yes,
hey, the paper ran out of the printer, Sean. What am I going to do? Yeah, that's no. Nice try.
Yes.
All right.
And she released the Migo in the closet as well.
Something like
there you go. Perfect.
There we go. Now you're talking.
Yeah. I think,
good stuff, Sean.
Hank, you were suggesting that you guys would surveil while Lupita was at the office, right? Just so, Sean, you get that.
Yep. No, that's
couple of hours of observation.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are Hank's surveilling the house. And whoever wants to sit in the car and drink coffee with him for a couple hours.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Drink coffee.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. Thank you for running, Sean.
Yeah.
All right. Hope you guys had a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
I did.
Cool.